leadership is the way you're going to get to the next place. Probably the number one advice I would give to people is be curious, learn, read.
So tell us about the beginning of your career, of how you got into recruiting, sort of up to present day.
So as I mentioned to you before, I worked in finance before. I worked in a mutual fund company. I was there for 10 years and I loved it. It was great, wonderful people, just a really great company, very diverse, very open, lots of learning opportunities. And it trained me for a lot of things, but finance was never my passion. Helping people was my passion. So I knew a woman who was an executive recruiter. She asked me if I was interested in it, told me more about it. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, yeah, this sounds right up my alley. Helping people achieve their potential and helping companies succeed was really what I wanted to do. And I felt like where I wasn't going to get me there. So I was very persistent in pursuing this particular company, Maxwell Drummond, because I believed it matched my values and it actually cared about the people that it helped and the companies that it helped. Sure. And so I joined them in the lowest position as a researcher, convinced them that it was worth the risk since I had no experience. 6 months later, I was a research manager. 6 months after that, I was a full consultant, doing what I do now. And then I moved into their headquarters in London for a couple of years, helped them expand the business.
Sure.
And then and then was with them for 10 years. Loved it. Now, they were only an oil and gas recruitment company. They didn't go outside of that at all. In 2014-15, the oil and gas industry was just dropping. So during that downturn, they weren't willing to diversify into other industries.
Okay.
And I was a sole breadwinner. I needed to, expand. And so I joined another company that was based out of Scotland, but was wanting to open up in the US. They were diversified across industries. So I joined them just as myself and started growing that business in the US in 2015. So started with them. They had anything in the US and started growing that business, hired a good number of people. I think we were up to about 7 people. And we were doing work across the world, both in oil and gas, but also in food and beverage and construction and building materials and emergency response and all kinds of things. And it was great. And we were a great team. In 2020, when COVID hit, they decided it was a little too risky to be international and they wanted to pull back to Scotland. So we worked out a deal where I purchased the US business. All of the clients stayed with us, which was great. So we got to keep our clients. We could work internationally, but not in Scotland or the UK. So we had a non-compete in the UK. So that's how we formed Merrimack in July of 2020. We didn't know what was going to happen or what the world was going to do. It was a scary time, but Lauren and Amber and I stuck together, and our clients stuck with us. And really, by the end of the year, we had a return on investment and we were growing again and bringing more people back on the team, and started our leadership training, which probably helped all of that.
Sure.
And so here we are today, 5 years later, doing great.
That's amazing. So can you tell us about Merrimack and its services and what you provide across all the different industries?
Yeah. So Merrimack International is a retained executive search firm. So we help clients, companies, find their top talent from director level through to chairman of the board in those hard to find spots. So that could be a location or geography. It could be a skill set. It could be that they're wanting to hire someone confidentially. We can help with that, and we often do. And the clients that we work with, we do still have a heavy energy focus because we're based in Houston. And a lot of our international clients are in that energy space. So we work in oil field services, refining. We also work in mining, manufacturing, construction, and EPC. We work in food and beverage. We work in technology, software as a service. We work in just a number of nonprofits, another big one that we work with.
Sure.
And we're basically helping these companies find the best executive that fits their culture along with the skill sets needed for the role. We work via a process that, let's just, as an example, a company is looking for a CFO. They'll come to us, say, this is the CFO I want. We ask them a lot about their culture, their future plans, any challenges they're having. We really understand that client and become a partner, because if we go out to market, we become an extension of them and we want to represent them in the best possible way. And then we go and map all of their competitors for who's acting CFO now and who works for them and is maybe ready to step up. We identify all of those people, tap them on the shoulder, ask them if they're open to an opportunity, and try to engage them in a conversation for this opportunity, whatever that is. And so what you get is this process that we utilize is we're covering the market. Anyone who is available or interested, we're going to know about it because we've already mapped who that might be. Mm-hmm. And then we get them engaged and we get them along the process. We meet them face to face. We understand their motivations, their compensation, their leadership style, their communication style, along with all of the requirements of the job. And we will bring the top 3 to 5 to the table for the client. And we work with them all the way through this process. We're constantly communicating and talking about what's going on. And then they know that they've had a good sweep of the market. They know what's out there. They know what's happening in that market, what their competitors are doing. And they've got 3 to 5 qualified candidates who can do the job. And they're going to be the best that are available.
That's amazing. It's a very comprehensive process.
It's very comprehensive. We work as a partner all the way through it. It's very high touch, very personalized and customized to that client and what they want and how they work as well.
Sure. Yeah. That's amazing. So tell us, what was the situation that led you to bring in leadership development for you and your team?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So first of all, I'm a big believer in leadership development. Mm-hmm. I always think that's great. I had the luxury and I guess privilege of having a lot of leadership training when I worked at AIM Investments /Invesco.
Okay. Yeah.
So when I was working in finance, I got a lot of training on a lot of different skill sets. And so I'm a big believer in it. My team didn't have that luxury of training. And they were now the basis for growing the company. And we're going leaders in the company. So when we formed in 2020, Jason and Pat were also forming Armada. And we talked about it. And I said, why don't you guys do an offsite for us if you're up for it? They were new. We were new. And I really wanted my team to experience that and set a foundation of strong leadership. So we set that up as a long week, like 3-day training offsite. They came in, went through the basics with us, learned a lot. Some of it were things that I was familiar with, but my team was not. Some of it were things that were new to all of us. But one of the things that I'm a really big believer in is the DISC assessment. So it's the personality assessment, I guess, or psychometric is what we would call it. And it gives you your communication style as a big part of that and how you deal with things. I've used it for years, so I was excited about it. I wanted my team to feel it, and we still use it today. Okay. So as a result of that training, my team got a good foundation in general leadership, understanding yourself and others, how important it is to know what's going on with yourself and your own strengths and weaknesses in order to understand what other people's strengths and weaknesses are and where you can help them along. And also how to fill in around that, right?
Mhm.
So they had a great basis. We loved that. We still use that training today. We each have our binder and we'll go through it when we have struggles. I mean, it's really great training. And then we use the DISC assessment anytime someone new comes into the organization. And then we have a team building on the back of that so that everybody on the team knows their own personality and communication style as well as that of everyone else. And they have tools to navigate crisis or miscommunication going forward. And it's been really good. We've used it ever since then, and it's fantastic.
So what advice would you give a younger leader, one that is wanting to, rise up through the ranks and everything? What would you tell them to do?
So first of all, I think ambition is great, and it all requires follow-up and diligence and persistence and going for what you want. However, leadership is the way you're going to get to the next place, and stepping on others or just trying to get there as fast as you can is not necessarily the best route to a long and successful career. So probably the number one advice I would give to people is be curious, learn, read, get as much training as you can, find a mentor or two who can help you navigate and who will give you advice. Don't think you know it all, because you don't. Nobody ever knows it all. I don't. No one else does. Every good leader I know is constantly reading and working to improve themselves so they can be better for their team and for their company. So keep learning, keep learning.